Do you have a project that must finish on a certain date, and now you need to figure out when you must start the work? This requires reverse planning. Traditionally, projects are planned from start to finish. With Microsoft Project Online, you can reverse that thought process and start with the end in mind. Microsoft Project can help you plan from your goal date back to the start. Western Principles can help you get started with it. Let's look at how you do reverse planning. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to get notifications about new content. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please like, comment, or share. Reverse planning may be referred to by other terms such as block planning, backward planning, or reverse scheduling. You want to hit an end date. How will you schedule for that? There are 4 methods. The first is to build a normal waterfall finish to start project and then to adjust dates until you hit the desired end date. That can be cumbersome. There are 3 more scientific ways to do reverse planning in Microsoft Project. You can use the as late as possible constraint type for preceding tasks, you can use the start to finish relationships on preceding tasks, or you can get Microsoft Project to schedule the project from the end date. Let's look at each of these options. As a note for all of these options, you might start your scheduling process by working with your team on the tasks that they'll need to do to complete the project, and agree on key items like the work itself, who should do it, and general sequencing. You might do this together with a whiteboard, sticky notes, or a similar method. When you start putting your schedule together, you could build it in reverse, for example, entering your final activity and working backwards through the work to the first task. You might also build it from front to back and then use any of the methods to control the scheduling. As much as anything, this will be dictated by your style and working preference. For the tutorial today, we've pre-built the plans. We'll start with this example plan. Here we have 3 plans that look pretty much identical, all within one schedule. They all have the same work and durations, and similar relationships among the tasks. The project start date is set to August 3rd, 2020. In each of these plans, the target date is shown as the milestone called Solution in Place, which is in bold and red and has a red milestone marker. You can see that each of these tasks also has a green deadline indicator on September 30th, when that task must be completed. The Solution in Place task is driven by a number of activities, and also has an activity that comes after it. The first plan uses a traditional planning structure, driven from the start date, and all activities are set with normal finish to start relationships, and all are set to be as soon as possible. Easy, right? But right now, none of these projects are being driven by the finish date of September 30th. We're using an inactivated, date-constrained milestone against each Solution in Place task to show you what happens to drive from the start date backwards. We'll activate this activity now. Watch what happens to the schedules. Did you see the 3 plans move? Now the first plan has the Solution in Place milestone as September 30th. But all work still starts in August. That's not what we want. To adjust the plan, you'll have to manually constrain project work to start later. This can be very complex when you have a large schedule with lots of relationships. Like that, we've left a little bit of contingency in our schedule now, and we've got the project starting closer to the finish date. With our second plan, using as late as possible, the plan is all lined up in a nice waterfall that flows down to our final milestone. We can now see our work will need to start on August 25th. Of course, that doesn't leave us any wiggle room in the project if it runs late. So if you want to adjust your activity durations to build in some contingency and push it back a bit, this is the time to do it. There we go, that's looked after. In the third plan, we're using the start to finish relationships. This schedule is working now too, and again we can see the start of August 25th. The start to finish relationships are notoriously risky, however, so this might be a good way to do some what-if planning, but maybe not a great way to run your project. Again, we can build in some contingency by adding some time to activities. When you've landed on your schedule, it's all resourced and you have agreement from the project team and sponsor, you'd baseline your schedule. Let's look at the fourth option and perhaps better way to do reverse planning. Here we have the same plan that we were playing with in the other example, but of course just one copy of it. In the last example we were playing with options on the task level. In this example, we're going to look at working on a project level configuration. On the Project Information dialog box, we can adjust the scheduling option in Microsoft Project. Right now, Project is scheduling from the project start date. Let's switch that to the project finish date, and we'll have a finish date of October 1st because we actually have some activities that happen after our deadline of September 30th. There we go, our activities are lined up once again, leading up to September 30th. This is an effective method of building a schedule as you would normally do with finish to start relationships and as soon as possible constraints, so nothing weird here. Also, you can get back to more normal by changing the scheduling back to the project start date. We can select here a schedule start date that gives you a little bit of contingency. Now you can tune your plan, and when you've landed on your schedule and it's all resourced and you have your agreement from your project team and sponsor, you'd baseline your schedule. We've looked at 4 ways you can use Microsoft Project to reverse schedule to a target date. Each has some pros and some cons. Master these and you'll up your value as a project manager with some of the more advanced features in Microsoft Project. Western Principles is a Microsoft Gold project and portfolio management partner. We know Microsoft Project. We can help you with program selection and visibility, Microsoft Project, and other work management solutions like Azure DevOps and Jira, and other parts of your project and portfolio management system. Let's get started together. Visit us on the web, call us at 1-800-578-4155, or email us at info@westernprinciples.com. We look forward to helping you.